After Moses, the great leader of Israel, passed away, the heavy responsibility of leadership was placed upon Joshua, the son of Nun, once a slave in Egypt and the faithful servant of Moses. Joshua had witnessed the miraculous works of God, the Red Sea parting, manna falling from heaven to feed the people, and Mount Sinai blazing with divine fire as the Lord spoke with Moses. Yet, when faced with his new calling, Joshua felt a deep fear within. Before him stood mighty kingdoms, towering walls, and vast armies. He feared that the faith of Israel might collapse under his weakness, and that he himself might fail before God. But in that very moment of weakness, the voice of the Lord spoke, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now arise, cross the Jordan, you and all this people, into the land I am giving them." God promised to be with Joshua, just as he had been with Moses, assuring him that no one would stand against him. The Lord commanded him to be strong and courageous, to hold firmly to the law and meditate on it day and night, for it was the key to success and blessing. These words were not merely instructions, but a divine empowerment that transformed Joshua from a man of fear into a bold leader chosen to continue the sacred journey Moses had begun. After hearing God's command, Joshua regained his strength and acted as a true leader. He gathered the commanders of Israel and ordered them to prepare provisions. For in 3 days they would cross the Jordan to enter the land the Lord had promised. No longer a servant following Moses, Joshua now stood at the forefront, confident that God was with him. He reminded the people of Moses' teachings to obey the law and remain faithful, for obedience would bring victory and prosperity. Joshua also called upon the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, those who had already received land beyond the Jordan, to join their brothers in battle until all had received their inheritance. They responded with loyalty and faith. "All that you command us, we will do. Wherever you send us, we will go. May the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses." That moment marked the sacred transfer of leadership from Moses to Joshua. A new chapter opened in Israel's history, where Joshua, through faith and courage, became God's chosen instrument to fulfill the ancient promise to Abraham, to lead his people into the land long promised. As the day of crossing the Jordan approached, Joshua felt a steadfast assurance that the Lord was accomplishing his plan through Israel. He no longer trembled, for God's promise echoed within him, "No one shall stand against you. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you." Joshua understood that victory would not come from human strength, but from the power of the Almighty, the one who had chosen him to carry Moses' divine legacy. With that conviction, Joshua commanded the camp to prepare both their hearts and their belongings, for they were entering a new season 1 in which their faith would be tested. The people now looked upon Joshua with reverence and trust. They were no longer wanderers in the desert, but a nation chosen to inherit the promised land. Joshua reminded them to keep God's word in their hearts and meditate upon it day and night, for in it lay their strength and success. He knew the road ahead would be filled with dangers, fortified cities and powerful armies, but he was no longer alone. Before him, the Jordan River flowed a symbol of challenge, but within him, the flame of faith burned brightly, lighting the way for God's people toward the land of promise. After receiving God's word, Joshua began to feel the power and purpose given to him. The fear of an ordinary soldier was replaced with the conviction of a chosen leader. God's words echoed in his heart, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for I am with you wherever you go." Those words transformed Joshua, giving him the courage to lead Israel across the Jordan and into their destiny. He ordered the leaders to ready the people with food and weapons, for in 3 days they would set out on their decisive journey. He also urged them to hold fast to Moses' law, to meditate upon it constantly so as not to stray from God's path. The Israelites responded with loyalty. All that you command us, we will do. May the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. At that moment, Joshua was no longer merely Moses' successor. He became a symbol of faith and courage. He understood that the battles ahead would be fierce, but with the Lord's presence, nothing could stop Israel from reaching the land promised to their forefathers. As the Lord's promise continued to echo in his heart, Joshua stood before the Jordan, the boundary between years of wandering and the future of hope that God had prepared. The Lord's voice burned within him. No one will stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and very courageous. These words engraved themselves upon Joshua's heart, revealing that true success would come not through military might, but through unwavering obedience and faith in God. The Lord instructed him, "Keep my law. Do not turn to the right or the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Meditate on it day and night, and observe all that is written." Joshua realized that only through complete faithfulness to God's covenant could Israel truly conquer. With this understanding, he commanded the people to prepare not only their swords and shields, but their hearts in humility and faith. Every Israelite was no longer just a warrior, but a chosen vessel to fulfill God's ancient promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Joshua lifted his eyes toward the horizon, where the morning light touched the flowing Jordan, a sign of a new beginning. He knew that trials awaited, but so did the glory of God, ready to be revealed among his people. Empowered by God's command and strength, Joshua rose with unwavering faith, ready to fulfill his divine mission. He summoned the officers and said, "Prepare provisions, for in 3 days we will cross the Jordan to take possession of the land the Lord promised to our ancestors." His voice was firm and resolute, for he now knew with certainty that the Lord was with him. He reminded the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, who had already received their inheritance, to remain steadfast and fight alongside their brothers until all had received their promised land. Joshua called for unity, loyalty, and faith in God's covenant. The people responded with one heart. "All that you command us, we will do. Wherever you send us, we will go. May the Lord your God be with you, as he was with Moses." In that moment, Israel's faith was rekindled. They were no longer wanderers, but a covenant people, ready to step into the promised land with God as their guide. As the dawn reflected upon the Jordan, Joshua felt the presence of God deeply within. Though battles and trials awaited, he knew that with the Lord beside them, they would not fail. It was the dawn of a new journey of faith, one that would make Joshua a living symbol of courage and obedience to the will of God. In the moment when Israel swore their allegiance, Joshua felt the power of God's presence covering the entire nation. Their united response, "All that you command us, we will do. Wherever you send us, we will go," rose like a hymn of faith and unity. After years of wandering in the wilderness, the people were now ready to embark on a new journey, the journey of promise and covenant fulfillment. Joshua was no longer the servant of Moses, but the leader chosen by God to complete his divine work. He knew victory would not come through weapons or might, but through absolute faithfulness to the Lord. The people of Israel, their hearts renewed, had learned to trust the one who guided them through every trial. Now, as the Jordan River flowed before them, they saw not an obstacle, but the unfolding of God's promise. Joshua lifted his eyes, and the light of dawn shone upon his face, a symbol of a new era of faith and hope. From that moment on, Israel prepared not only to conquer the promised land, but to live as God's chosen people, bearing his name among the nations and testifying to his eternal power forevermore.